The other one that I'm really surprised at that's going to hit, I think, middle and low income people is the cigarette tax.
Oh,
they're increasing the cigarette tax by 94 cents per pack. According to their own numbers, that's almost 100% increase.
Well, you know what's happened is we have fewer people smoking, but of course government still wants the money from the cigarettes.
So we've done too good a job of getting people off of a sin tax. It's not generating the revenue, so now we have to broaden that base more or increase the tax to get the same amount because government runs on income.
Right, and let me tell you something. It's only a matter of time before they go after my cheap gin. It's only a matter of time before the alcohol taxes.
Yep.
What do you want to bet that's taken up pretty soon?
Yeah.
Now, that's something that would tick off a larger percentage of people. But, you know, you can be picked on smokers for the last 25 years.
And you can't smoke anywhere anyway. You can't smoke in any government property. I know Hennepin County, you can't even smoke in their parking lots. So even inside your car, on a property that's owned by Hennepin County is banned. They did that last year.
That's right. You don't have rights.
Nope, there's no personal rights any longer.
Well, and you know, we talk about lowering the tax rate to 5.5%, but there's another little cog in that, and that's this transportation committee. The governor put together a committee last fall that, shockingly, recommended another 1/4 cent increase in the sales tax on top of what we already had previously with the 2008 legislation.
Yep.
And of course, where's that going to go? Mass transit.
That's going to pay for your train.
Yeah, so we're
Southwest, you're going to get you'll get your money now for the Southwest corridor if this passes because that takes care of
they don't
the
have
increase.
To bond it.
Well, they don't have to bond it, and they don't have to increase property taxes because that's the big secret is outward of the 2020 and into 2025. When it's actually up and running, they would absorb almost 100% of the property taxes in the 7-county metro area just to pay for all of the 3 lines that would be up and running then.
So the 3 lines over the next dozen or so years would eat up.
Right, the property taxes.
Wow.
So they have to find another revenue source before that happens.
Well,
so watch your wallet out there.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'll tell you another thing that is significant here is he's proposing changes to the income taxes and the corporate tax. Now again, it's under a little guise because the governor wants to do what we just did at the federal government, which was create another tax bracket, which would be a 2% increase on that bracket. Currently Minnesota has 3.
Right.
And he wants to create a 4th tier that would pay 9.85% just in state income taxes. Of course, they're paying 30-something to the federal government. Right?
But again, Andrew, just for fair and balance, that's only on that excess over the 250,000.
Well, so I'd like to be in that category. So
well, you should be. I thought this contract got you there.
Well, it doesn't. I only got my option picked up. I'm still negotiating a long-term deal.
Okay.
And he's also proposing lowering the state corporate income tax rate from 9.8 to 8.4, which is still very, very high compared to the rest of the nation, especially the states around us.
Right. And the only thing is, too, is offsetting that is he wants to bring in, currently Minnesota allows the businesses that have income outside the U.S. not to be taxed.
Loopholes.
He wants to close that loophole.
Right. In other words, tax the money that's not being taxed.
And it's not here. You know, they earned it outside the United States, which is normally not taxed by the United States. Even the federal government has identified that if you earn income, well, you earn income in your Canadian operations, you don't tax it in the United States or in Minnesota. The governor wants to go and tax that.
Yeah, and I add one more thing. And the governor, to my knowledge, did not propose this. But another thing that's being floated around, in fact, the senator from Brooklyn Park, Chris Eaton, proposed this, to raise the minimum wage. I don't see that in the governor's plan. But now think about this for a second. Let's say I own a clothing store, okay? And right away, I'm hit with a 5.5% increase on stuff over $100. And of course, it'd be just a matter of time before that's extended everywhere. Once you open up a revenue source to government, it never ends. Then you couple that with a minimum wage increase. Because somebody
and this isn't a small increase either. This was going
$950, I thought is what I.
$750, and it's 6 something now. So.
Oh, is it? Okay, I thought it was higher than that.
No, I thought I heard $750 was what he. And again, it was going to be phased in. over a period of time, the old phase-in.
Right, but here's the thing. If I'm a business owner, okay, that's a net loss for me, both of those things. Getting hit on both ends, the sales end and the labor
Well,
end.
you're not paying the sales tax, so you're just collecting it. Remember that.
Yeah, right.
But you may have less revenue because people are going to buy cheaper goods.
Right.
Especially the high-end places. Yes, you're going to put them.
The men's warehouses
Right.
of the world are going to
Right.
get nailed by that. And so
Professionals, that's the biggest thing is professionals. You can't hardly get a suit for under $100. So, and again, not all professionals are wealthy. I know lots of people that are in, banking, accountants, lawyers. Again, I guess all lawyers are just by the nature of it, but I'm an accountant, so I can go after lawyers. But any professional, people that work in clothing places, they're required to have a certain type. And even with their discounts, I think some of those, your women's and your men's clothing, you have to look good. I'm guessing some of that stuff is going to be more than $100. And those are people that are probably not making much more than their minimum wage on salary and commissions.
Right, and then you add to it things like legal services. I mean, you taxing lawyers, but it's really the people seeking out lawyers that are going to get hit by it. I mean, because think about how much it costs to have a lawyer, okay? And I've been lucky in my life. I've never had to hire one, but I could someday.
I can't say that I haven't.
Yeah, well, I could for some reason. Who knows? And to add 5.5% on
an hourly rate, that's
billing,
at least $100 an hour in most cases.
I mean, that's big.
So now
time
that's $105.50 an hour. You just
So that's now, Ron. Let me ask you something. We've kind of identified the aspects of the revenue portion, or as I call it, the tax portion. What can you share with us about where is this money going to go? I mean, what is the governor proposing to spend it on?
Again, based on the parameters, and again, I don't know if Andrew can put it up, but I can give him the website that the governor slides are from that I'm going after. And you have to be careful because, again, there's two of them. There's comparing the 2012-13 to his proposal or the 2014-15 as it was forecasted to that. Based on, again, 2012-13, so the years that we're looking at right here, they're going to increase K-12 education by 8.1%. That's where about half of the increase. The increase here is $2.7 billion increase in spending. Okay, 1.1 to 1.2 billion of that is in K-12 education. The other big item is debt service. That's number 2. That's almost $1 billion increase because we're borrowing to do projects. Bonding. Anybody remember bonding the last 2 sessions? Usually we do it the non-budget year, but because of everything going on,
3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. So we had an extra one in there because last budget cycle, so that would have been 2 years ago, they had, I think it was close to $1 billion. We did $1 billion. So I think over the last 3 years, it's been $3 billion in that.
I think, well, normally what happens, just to explain this real quick, the state budget starts July 1st of the odd year. And then it goes till June 30th of the next odd year. That's the 2-year.
Right.
And usually they figure out the budget in the odd year. And the second year is when they do bonding, stadiums, take up those kinds of things. Well, part of the agreement to end the government shutdown in 2011 was to put out a bonding bill in the odd year, which we normally don't do. And by the way, the legislature, each of the last 2 years has cut out about a third of what the governor wanted to bond. So we could be in further debt. He wanted a Saint Stadium. He wanted.
Well, he got that.
That's the Saint Stadium went through?
Yep, because they had that miscellaneous category.
Oh, that was the miscellaneous.
That's the miscellaneous.
I thought it was a Civic Center in Rochester or something.
I think I'm not
Southwest
positive.
Southwest line got taken out of there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think that was a grant area. And I found out, I was working down South St. Paul, and I heard that they got their grant approved for that. So I think that they got it.
Whoever gave me that bad information, then I'm going to fire as soon as the show's over.
Again, I'm 90%. I'm 90% there.
Okay.
So those are 2 big areas. So K-12 is 1.1 to 1.2 billion. Debt increase is almost $1 billion, and the third one is health and human services, because we have older people now. We have to increase that.